Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Now, I'll give you the game of the season, even if you don't support our team. Manchester City versus Liverpool this Sunday at 4:30 p.m., which is UK time. For me, this fixture is make or break for both teams. I think a defeat could kill the momentum and present the upper hand for the winner. So it's not as quite as simple as whoever wins the match wins the league, as it's been sort of mentioned within the media. I feel like it's bigger than that. Both teams are still playing in the FA Cup and in the Champions League. So this game has a lot of value and there's lots to play for. So before I begin the match preview, I thought, let me try a different approach with this sort of episode. I thought rather than just showcasing the predicted lineup, I thought it'd be quite nice to try and present how both teams will be set up tactically and, in my eyes, who are the danger men for each team. So we'll begin with the home team, which is Man City. So let me share my screen with you guys. So here is the team. So this is how I think the team will be set up. So I've gone for Ederson in goal, which is pretty much automatic selection there. Back four, I've gone for Cancelo at left back, Laporte, Stone as well as a centre back pairing rather than have Ake in there. And Walker returns to the lineup as he was absent in the Champions League due to his suspension. So that would be the back four for Man City. Midfield, I've got Rodri as a defensive mid, and you've got Gundogan, and you've got De Bruyne as well. Up top, I've gone for Sterling on the left-hand side. Some may prefer Grealish, but I feel like Sterling will start this game. Bernardo Silva on the right and Phil Foden playing the sort of false nine role within this team. So quite self-explanatory in terms of the formations, quite simple. But as we all know, Pep is one of those managers that is a tactician, and he said it himself, he overthinks how to deploy tactics in a certain position. So I'll try and get into Pep's head in terms of how I feel like he will set up. So this would be the sort of the starting lineup or the starting position for these players. Let's go from the defense. So I think the key player in this game will be Cancelo. So Cancelo, obviously naturally right-footed, but has played left back predominantly this season and has been outstanding to say the least. One of his key successes playing in the Man City role is actually drifting inside. So whether it's Gundogan tucking in inside and with Cancelo coming here, because the starting position won't be here. He'll pretty much be up top over here. And then Laporte, and you've got Stone as well, playing a bit of a highlight. Probably not as high as Liverpool, but this is the sort of setup that they would do as well. And as he's on sort of an attacking front, I feel like Sterling will be the player that provides the width, and this will be his position. So as he's providing the width, that allows Cancelo to come infield, and then you've got Gundogan here to kind of cover his tracks if Liverpool are able to do a counter-attack. So you've got a player to cover his back, and this gives him the platform to roam around this area here, either playing a pass towards Sterling or towards Foden or even Bernardo Silva on the other hand side, or even with De Bruyne. So De Bruyne for me would come up a bit more up top, and then you'll have 5 players that are pretty much on the attack against Liverpool. So that would be one variation of their play, in my opinion. I think Cancelo will have these kind of moments if he's allowed to, depending on how Liverpool present their team and tactics as well. So let's put Cancelo back to his original position. I think also within this game, if, for example, it's 0-0 towards the second half or towards the latter stages and Pep's not able to, or should I say the players aren't able to break the team down, Pep would need to sort of deploy a different kind of formation or tactics within the third half of the pitch. So I can see him doing this where Foden plays a bit more to his natural side with left, and then De Bruyne comes in here. So it becomes 4 attackers, and then you've got Rodri and Gundogan playing the sitting players as well. And then you've got, I think with Gundogan, if it's towards the latter stages, you could bring in Fernandinho to come in and sort of rest up that position there and make sure there's nothing defensively that they have to do, and the attack can be permitted with the 4 players up top. So that could be a variation there. If Gundogan was playing a more deeper role, you could kind of get Rodri here, and then Gundogan floating around a bit more as well. So you have 5 players coming up. So, it seems a bit crazy in terms of how many players I've got up there, but it could be a thing where to go all out, throw the kitchen sink at the opposition, this is how all of them would attack, in my opinion. So I put De Bruyne here because I feel like he'll be a bit more of a driving force, playing a bit more century, and then you've got Foden and you've got Gundogan on the right-hand side, and then you've got these guys can come in and then sort of be like the fox in the box. And then you've got Cancelo, and then you've got Walker coming up, providing the width from both hand sides. So, yeah, it looks a bit crazy in terms of how I've got the team set up. But for me, that is a variation of how they can be in terms of an attacking force going forward. So, won't be easy for Liverpool. I've gone for this selection. So a lot would question why I've gone for Sterling in terms of Grealish. I feel like Sterling offers more on the wing with his raw pace. I think that will, for Man City's perspective, that will help Trent Alexander backtrack a little bit more than normal. So having a player with that kind of raw pace and trickery with his dribbling as well will be vital in terms of how they're set up. I think further down the line in terms of the game, I can see Mahrez coming on as he's been a great impact player for Man City. So I can see him coming in. I can see Fernandinho coming in to kind of just be that sort of defensive block when all of the players that are in front can go and attack. I think those two would be the main one. And then you've got, I'm not sure if Jesus is available, but he could be an option if he's fit. Unfortunately, Diaz has been ruled out, so he won't be playing in this game. So that's why I've got Stone in my lineup there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in terms of the tactical setup here for Man City. So what I'll do is I will showcase the setup for Liverpool. So how I think Liverpool will start the game. So let me share my screen with you guys. So here is the Liverpool setup. So to kind of explain my lineup, I've gone for Alisson, which is another automatic selection there. Back 4 will be Robertson, Van Dijk. For this fixture, I think Matip will be brought in instead of Konate, even though he had a great midweek performance, despite the mistake he gave that allowed Benfica to get a consolation goal. Still feel like he had a great game. But in this fixture, I feel like experience is vital, so I've gone for Matip in this lineup. And then you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side, who for me will be a key player in this fixture. And I'll explain why in a few moments. Midfield, Fabinho, and you've got Thiago, the maestro in our midfield. And I would bring back Henderson in his team. I know a lot of Liverpool fans were very happy in terms of how Naby Keita performed midweek. But for me, Henderson, captain, leader, and tactically will play a big part in terms of how we're set up. So that's why I've got him in the midfield. And front 3, for me, it was a bit of a difficult one. It was a flip of a coin between Diaz and Mane, but I've gone for Diaz purely based on form and in terms of how he's been playing in recent weeks. And I feel like his raw pace will definitely be a nightmare for Kyle Walker, even though he's one of the fastest players in the Premier League. So that's why I've gone for Diaz on the left-hand side. And I brought Jota back into the lineup. And Salah, I saw on social media that some people thought Salah should be dropped within this team here. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Just because he's going through a small dip in form, you can't rule out class. So for me, he definitely has to start. It goes without saying, to be honest with you. So in terms of tactically, I think everyone knows our fullbacks will be playing a bit more higher up. So they will be up here. You've got Van Dijk and you've got Matip playing up as well. And you've got Fabinho pretty much being a DM to cover up. If one fullback goes up, he'll be there to cover them, and then vice versa on the other side of the pitch as well. So Henderson for me will have a key role in this fixture. So if you watched how Liverpool played this season, you would have noticed Henderson normally drifts to the right hand side quite a bit. That will allow Trent Alexander-Arnold to come into the middle and play a pivotal role in terms of providing an assist or through balls to our three attackers here. Quite similar to Cancelo actually in the Man City team. But obviously Cancelo plays on the left hand side, but both share sort of similar traits in terms of style of play, and both have amazing ability on the ball. So he'll be playing a bit more infield. That will put Henderson on the right hand side and Salah to be a bit more infield as an inside forward. And then you've got Diaz. For me, he will be occupying this sort of left hand side, but Diaz does tend to like to cut in. So even if he was to sort of cut inside in one of his marauding runs, you'll have him in the central area, and then he would rotate with Jota, who can also play comfortably on the left hand side. So that could be a variation you see within the game, which is quite pivotal. Thiago will be very important, as I feel like he will pretty much be the conqueror of this area of the pitch. With Henderson playing so much wider than normal, he'll be a bit more in the central area, kind of like a number 10, but not quite. I'd probably say between an 8 and a 10. And then be the person to thread the through balls to the attackers. So very key in terms of how we play. If obviously certain players aren't playing to their capabilities, we've got Harvey Elliott who could come in for Henderson, and he can easily occupy this area that I mentioned for Henderson and do it with great effect. For Thiago, we've got Naby Keita who can play comfortably on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side, but he can occupy that area as well. Up top, we've got Jota. Diaz will be starting in that position, but it will be Diaz. So Diaz can be rotated with Mane. Mane can come in, and Firmino can also come in for Jota. So if we feel like we're losing a bit of control in the game and we need someone to hold up the ball, Bobby Firmino can be in this sort of areas and play like a 10/false 9 sort of position, and then allow these guys to just attack more centrally than normal. So yeah, very sort of, this is the way I think both teams will set up. It might not happen, but this is the way I've seen both teams play this season. I feel like it'll be quite similar set up. They both have variation in the play, especially Pep's team. They tend to have a lot of variation, a lot of interchange between players. As you know, they don't have a leading striker, so all of the players can literally rotate left, right, and center and play with full effect. So obviously two big teams, so it's an exciting counter, but tactically as well, it's going to be an interesting fight in terms of how both teams play, because they're both so strong. They have so much quality, and then even coming from the bench, they have a lot of quality going forward. So very interesting to see how the team pans out. Madison Smith with a comment here. Hypothetically, if a draw were to happen on Sunday, what team on Man City remaining fixture can you make them drop points? Do you know what? I'm going to pull out the fixtures for Man City and then we can go through ourselves right now. So I think from what I remember, Man City have the easier fixtures in my opinion. So let me share the screen with you guys and then we can discuss it further. So over here we've got, so obviously the big game against Liverpool. We've got them next week in the FA Cup, which is obviously not a Premier League game, but still adds a bit of spice in terms of the encounter, but can also have an effect of the season in general. So we've got Wolves to play. For me, Wolves have been fantastic this season, but I don't think they will trouble Man City in this fixture. Brighton for me have been really poor, especially in recent weeks. They just can't score goals, to be brutally honest. So I don't see them troubling as well. Watford, yeah, I don't see Watford troubling City either. Leeds United play expansive football, but for me, conceded a lot. And with Man City being such a great attacking force, it's not going to happen in this fixture. So that would be another win for City. Man City and Newcastle, that could be one where points could be dropped, but I wouldn't have too many high hopes regarding that one. West Ham, who have been very strong this season at home, could do us a favour there and make City drop a point. And then you've got Aston Villa, so you've got Stevie G there. Maybe he can help us out in that regards. But I would say looking at these fixtures alone, it's the remaining three where I'm thinking maybe they can drop points, but I wouldn't be very heavy reliant in terms of the teams gaining points. Obviously, Newcastle, they're in a comfortable position where they should survive and should be a Premier League team at the end of the season. West Ham, pretty much fighting for a Europa League spot. I don't think they will have enough to challenge for that fourth position. And you've got Aston Villa, who aren't really playing for much right now, but they've not been great from either. So yeah, to answer your question, I think those three will be the sort of the fixtures that I feel like maybe City can drop points, but yeah, it's wishful thinking at this stage. But you never know, because Crystal Palace, who for me have been one of the stand-up teams, I think Patrick Vieira is doing an amazing job as well at Crystal Palace. They drop points. Man City drops points against Palace for that fixture as well. So you never know. Football is one of those games where anything can happen. But yeah, I would probably say those three are the fixtures where I would look at and have a little bit of hope, but at the same time, a bit of wishful thinking as well. And I think for Liverpool, let's do Liverpool as well. So let me pull out Liverpool's fixtures and do a comparison. Because from what I remember, I think there was 3 key fixtures that I felt like Liverpool need to make sure we get maximum points. Otherwise, it could hamper our season, not just the Premier League campaign, but in the Champions League and the FA Cup. And it might just have a domino effect altogether, which, touch wood, never happens. But yeah, it's just one of those ones where you have to be realistic as well. That's why I haven't really spoken too much about winning quadruple or the treble or anything like that. I'm literally same notion as the manager and the players, take each game at a time, and every game is a cup final, and that's the ultimate truth. So in terms of fixtures for Liverpool, we have Manchester United after Man City. So obviously Manchester United haven't been in great form, but our rivalry is pretty intense. And, I'm sure United would like to ruin someone's party. So in this fixture, they might turn up and unfortunately do that as well. So that's the tricky game, as it's an emotional one as well because of the rivalry. And speaking of emotional, so is the next fixture where you've got Liverpool and Everton, Merseyside derby. Everton obviously in the mud right now, not doing well, in the relegation zone right now, and look like they won't be able to survive. But in this game, you never know. It's a one-off game. If they're able to get a win, that can turn their season as well altogether. So these two are the fixtures that I'm quite concerned about. Newcastle, Newcastle have been decent in the second half of the season, so you never know. Tottenham, who have shown some great form in recent weeks and are going for that top 4 spot, so they won't be easy opposition either. And then you've got Aston Villa versus Liverpool, so another one where strong team, but you'd hope Liverpool get the points there. And same goes for Southampton, and same goes for Wolves as well. So, I think in comparison, Liverpool have the tougher fixtures. But yeah, it's a tricky one, to be honest with you. That's why I say there's a lot riding in this game on Sunday. We'll see who's victorious. In regards to my prediction, I'm going to go for 1-0 to Liverpool. I don't think there'll be a lot of goals in this game. I feel like both teams will try and cancel out each other. As I showed in my sort of tactic boards there, that there will be a lot of variation in terms of how the other team can conquer the other. But they're both such quality teams that sometimes those tactics kind of go out the window. You kind of just have to play what's in front of you. So I'm going for a 1-0 to Liverpool. I didn't want to be on the fence and say it's going to be a draw. I thought Liverpool, I'm only going for 1-0 because I feel like Liverpool have the momentum. I don't think they'll be performing to the best of their capability. I feel like they'll get enough. And I can see a first half goal as well. And if I was to put a thing on who would score, I'm going to go for Luis Diaz if he starts. As I feel like Liverpool will start very aggressively in this game and get that first half goal. And then the second half, I can see us play more on the counter attack, as I feel like City will be going for it in the second half. So yes, that's the way I've got kind of pictured the game in my head. So we'll see how that goes. But before we wrap up the show, I will do a quick Premier League match week 32 prediction. So what I'll do is share my screen of the Premier League fixtures for this week, and then we can go for one. We'll go for game by game. I know there's one game that has already taken place, and I believe Newcastle actually won their game against Wolves. So a great win for Newcastle there. So I'll do share screen. Here we go. So here we go. So the first fixture, we've got Everton versus Manchester United. Midday kickoff as well. Like I mentioned, Everton in the relegation zone right now, but they have performed a little bit better in recent weeks. I know they lost narrowly to Burnley midweek, which was a 3-2 result. But performances are improving. So if you're an Everton fan, slight more hope and positivity regarding the team right now. Manchester United, for me, have not been great, just to say in a polite manner. In recent weeks, they've been very lackluster in terms of their performance. I feel like they've kind of given up with the season, and I think they're looking forward to their holidays more than anything else because they're not really fighting for anything. There's no really urgency in their play. So could this be a banana skin where United drop points and Everton get a win? I don't think they'll get a win, but I can see it being a draw, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw for this fixture. And then you've got Watford and Leeds United. So two teams. I think Leeds United, like I mentioned, very expensive team, like to score goals. Watford as well, not the best defensive record. But to be fair, showed a great account of themselves last week against Liverpool. So I would go for I'll go for a Watford win. I think they'll win 2-1 this fixture here. Then you've got Southampton and Chelsea. So I feel like this game probably has more sort of light than it probably should have because of Tuchel's comments midweek after the Champions League tie, where he was pretty much dismissive about Chelsea's chances in the second leg next week. But he said, look, we need to focus on our next game, which is Southampton. And if we lose to Southampton, our season's pretty much wrapped up. So a lot is riding on this game right now. I think Chelsea will win. I think they've been a bit off the pace since the international break. The players may be a bit fatigued, I don't know, but they just haven't been playing to their capability. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Chelsea in that fixture. Arsenal versus Brighton. So naturally, I would have just said Arsenal win, but I'm not too sure, only because they don't have a recognised striker in their team right now. And goals have been very hard to come by so far in the second half of this season. But I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. I don't think it'll be a big scoreline, but Brighton, for me, defensively really good, but not very potent in front of goal, in my opinion. So I think Arsenal will snatch the win there. Aston Villa versus Tottenham. Aston Villa, for me, have been in poor form in recent weeks. Tottenham, on the other hand, have been in great form and are really going for that fourth spot. So I think it'll be a Tottenham win, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Tottenham there. Next fixture is Leicester City versus Crystal Palace. So Leicester City probably feel a bit hard done by in terms of their last fixture, which they probably should have won, but the goal that Madison scored was ruled out by VAR. Soft penalty, soft sort of decision, in my opinion, as I feel like it wasn't a strong foul on Varane, and the goal should have stayed on, but it is what it is. And Crystal Palace are on cloud nine right now with a fantastic win over Arsenal on Monday night with a 3-0 victory. So I'm going to go for a Palace win, and I think it will be 2-1 to Crystal Palace. The next fixture is Norwich City versus Burnley. So Norwich City pretty much relegated, respectively. Burnley, resurgence as they got a very important win midweek against Everton, almost like a 6-pointer. There's two rival teams getting out of that relegation zone. I think it'll be a Burnley win. I think it'll be 1-0 to Burnley for this fixture. Then you've got Brentford versus West Ham. Brentford with a fantastic win against Chelsea, unexpectedly as well. And then West Ham also won last weekend. So two teams in good form. I'm going to go for 2-1 win for Brentford. I think it'll be a home win. And finally, the big one, Man City versus Liverpool. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Liverpool. So, yeah, let's see how my predictions go regarding match week 32. But that wraps us up for today, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all the support. Hopefully we'll have more content coming out. I know I've been a bit MIA due to the international break, but more content will be coming up in the near future. I will be doing a Instagram live on Monday at 10:30 p.m. For a show that I call Talk That Talk, which is a platform for you guys to come on, express your views about your team or the results that have taken place over the weekend. In terms of for myself, there's no agenda. Everything's off the cuff. So you'll hear my views about the Liverpool and Man City game. Hopefully good news regarding that fixture. But yeah, feel free to come on, and even if you don't want to make an appearance on the show, feel free to send your comments and your thoughts about the games that have taken place. And even if you want to spark a debate, happy to get that on board as well. So looking forward to a show on Monday. Our normal scheduled show will be next Tuesday, 12th of April at 10:30 p.m., where I will be doing a full analysis of all the big games that have taken place in match week 32 and give you my analysis on all of the games, present the team of the week, announce the FPL manager of our league as well, and preview the upcoming games next weekend. So yeah, games are coming thick and fast, so a lot to cover in the coming weeks. But again, thank you for tuning in, guys, and I hope to see you all very soon. Take care and good night.